Halo, apa kabar? Welcome to sauna room ya. And it's very hot there. So I can imagine the energy is a bit drained, but can we clap a bit? Okay, thank you. All right, good morning everyone. My name is Ongki. I am the country director for Line. Thank you for Indonesia to invite us. I think this is first time actually Line speak in Indonesia. And I think we are bringing a very interesting topic, as you see. Actually, the recipe is not that complex, it's quite simple, you will see. And we've been able to repeat that recipe again and again in a very well executed way. So that's our office. So feel free to come to our office at one point so you can take a picture with Connie, Brown, and Moon. So today I will cover a topic that basically may be interested to some of you, especially the stars that wants to come to Indonesia. So the focus is really about how we enter Indonesia, and of course not only the entry stage, but also how we actually after that grow to scale. Which is actually quite interesting because Indonesia in itself is a very interesting market, very attractive market. Right, so let me try again. So maybe I just do a voice comment. Please, next. Maybe let me start with introducing you a bit about Line. Yeah? Actually, back in 2009, Naver, a very successful Korean search engine company, which actually beat Google in Korea, sent a few engineers to Japan. So they conquered Korea already. They want to target Japan next. So the engineer units, they tried many times. It's very difficult to actually beat Yahoo. But then, they almost gave up actually at that time. But then March 2011, we have a major earthquake in Japan. 8.9 Richter scale. And what happened? Most of the fixed line infrastructure actually going down. So typically during that period, then people will have to rely on public phone, for example. So at that time, then the engineer needs to communicate, and they created an app that run based on internet. So they don't run based on the fixed line, they run based on internet. And they launched it 3 months afterward, in June 2011, to the public in Japan. So the name Line is actually coming from people lining up in front of the public phones, because during the disaster, usually the public phones is the priority over the mobile. So that's how the name came up, how it came originally in Japan, and it actually gained significant growth after that within Japan. So what happened after that? Of course, it started spreading out outside of the countries. The global operation in Korea noticed that it started actually growing in Indonesia. So noticeably in August 2012, it reached about 200,000 customers. So next, please. Back in 2012, I would like to just give you a context about the competitive landscape at that time. It's actually already a very crowded market. The incumbent at the time is BBM. BBM was very popular in Indonesia as a messaging, but it's actually a paid messaging at the time. It's a paid messaging. And then we also, of course, have Line, WeChat, Kakao, and WhatsApp trying to enter the market. Remember, back in 2012, the smartphone penetration rate is still small, around 10%. So it's entering actually a period where it start exploding, right? So what we did is actually we innovate very fast, we pick the right marketing message, and also we try to localize as much as possible our message to Indonesians. I will give you more descriptions after, but by doing so, actually, right now, next please. Kakao and WeChat basically is drop off. They are diminishing in terms of the influence, below 5% in terms of shares. And what life is about these three key players right now in the market. So next, just want to show where we are right now before I get to the details. So right now, the growth has been significant. Since 2013, we've grown 500%, 500% in monthly active users. It has been downloaded by more than 150 million users. So it's very dramatic. And of course, there's so many things that we did. But since today is a marketing stage, I would like to focus on our marketing effort. And of course, within marketing effort, there's so many things as well that we did. It's all about iteration, it's all about trying, it's all about being the first and the fastest in the market. But at the end of the day, there are few pillar campaigns that we did executed so well that we can summarize into a certain pattern that you may want to also adopt the next time you try entering Indonesia. So let's start. Next, please. Again, as I mentioned. Okay, sure. All right. So over the years, I think there are 4 key campaigns that characterize the success of Line. So I can start with back in the early stage, which is 2012, 2013. We start in 2013 with this. We want to educate Indonesians about messaging. It's all about education first, right? I'll come to that in a bit. Next, going to 2014, we're riding on the social networking phenomenon, right? And then in 2015, we want to show that we want to separate ourselves with the rest in terms of technology. We continue to be upfront in terms of technology. And now, 2016, we are at a stage where we have a significant user base already. And now it's time where we want to show that it should be within your everyday life. Is something that you can access 24 hours every day. So these are the 4 pillar campaigns that we did and execute very well. Let me go through one by one. So the first one is back in 2013. Next, please. Okay, you will notice that I will repeat again the mantra again and again. It's all about right marketing to the right audience at the right timing. It's all about that. It's all about that. It's very simple. Okay? So back in 2013, after we see a strong initial growth in 2012, early 2013, we decided that it's the time for us now to do our first TVC. And TVC is still very important in Indonesia at the time. It's quite influential. So people still watch TV. So we first tried to pick what should be the message. And at the time, there's Kakao, there's WeChat. Kakao is really pushing the Korean pop culture. It's good, but it's not local. And then we have WeChat that trying to push the feature of the voice clips. Right? We know that at that time, the most important for Indonesians, based on our research, is actually a smartphone growing very fast, and people start moving away from SMS. SMS is paid. BBM, even is a messenger, is also paid. You have to subscribe. We are free. It's a free messaging. And not only that, it's fun because it has stickers, etc. So how do we convey that message? So we need to pick the right audience. And what we pick is, we know that female 20s, early 20s, are the one that gonna adopt this first. They will tell their boyfriends to adopt this. There's a network externalities. They will tell their moms, hey, moms, use this. So we target female in the 20s. And who would be the best at that time, if not Maudi Ayunda? Maudi Ayunda in her 20s, very smart, just accepted into Oxford. Perfect. So let's see how it goes.
your feelings. Line.
So what we want is to target very core audience first, the first early adopter. And we pick the right audience at the time. And the impact is significant. At the first, we want to target new registered users first, NRU. We don't have base. We want people to start adopting. So we start by focusing on NRUs, and the impact is significant. NRU grew by 400%, right? So that's 2013. And then come 2014, next. So at the time, we look at the basically what happened in the market, and we start to see the growth of Path and the early days of Instagram at the time. What we feel lacking with Line at the time is that our messaging is only used within a circle of friends. So we face a challenge how to grow bigger than that, right? So we thought about a feature which we call Find Alumni feature. So we want to find friends, but outside of your close circles. So maybe friends that you met in the past. So most likely alumni from your high school or your college. Now, of course, trying to convey that technical feature, right, to an audience is not easy. We know that the audience will be people that want to expand their social network, wants to reconnect, but we don't want to use it just straightforward. So we came with a very brilliant idea at that time. We actually embed that into mini videos. And I think most of you are probably quite familiar with that. That's where we introduced ADC, right? 2002, ADC movie was a big hit. We have a movie where two-person, which is actually centered around a character called Cinta, that was torn between her group of friends and this unassuming guy called Rangga. And the end of the movie is basically Rangga and Cinta while they're eventually fall in love, but they have to separate each other because Rangga needs to go to New York. So people really anticipating what's next for 12 years. So 2002, and in 2014, actually then we made that mini movie, right? Which eventually Rangga came back, tried to contact Cinta again, but again the problem is hard, and then they used the Find Alumni feature. So it's really big hit. It went really viral, 4 million YouTube hits in 5 days, and 1.6 million tweets. Let's see how it goes. And this is only the TVC version. Actually, the mini episode is actually 10 minutes long, so I cannot play it today. It's still an eye candy.
Cinta, tawa, dan tangis kita di masa itu masih tersimpan dalam kenangan. Temukan dia yang kamu rindukan di Line Find Alumni. Dalam setiap kata yang kau ucap. Love, life, Line. Ingin tahu cerita lengkapnya? Buka Line kamu sekarang.
So that's the teaser. And then you have to go to Line, you have to type Line, and then you can watch the movie. Exactly, it's clever marketing, push you to actually use the application, right? And if you notice, we use the same recipe again, right messaging, right audience, right time. Next, 2015. We have a very interesting feature that none of the other messenger actually had at that time. So again, if you look at the pattern, we always come up with something that is always ahead of the market. So this time around, 2015, we want to highlight that we are very cutting-edge messaging. We have what we call, at the time, was very fancy, free call and video call. Yeah, free call and video call. That's only a year back if you think about it. And again, we've put together the same recipe, right messaging. We want to come across as the most sophisticated messaging in the market. Right audience, we want to broaden the target now to families and friends. And what would be the best time to do that? We're talking about families and also video call if it's not for Ramadan and Lebaran. So what we did at that time is actually embed that messaging into a very touching story about the father that actually cannot be home during the delivery of his first baby. And in Indonesia, there is a religious I would say, common traits that you have to do the azan, the prayer, for your baby. And that is being done by the dad. And because of the father is not there, he was in oil rig, he can do that through the video call. So let's see how it goes.
Orang tua dulu bilang, suami istri baiknya selalu bersama. Tapi kami berjanji, jarak dan waktu tidak akan memisahkan kami.
Singkirkan jarak, dekatkan hati. Line video call gratis.
So every time I go and meet some of the line users, they always recall this video, and also they always recall why they use the video call. I think this one really powerful in terms of delivering the message. I think I will be on time. No worries. Okay, and on this one, we are moving from the NRU in the beginning, the net registered users. We start moving to more engagement. So if you notice, the previous one is for the ADC is for the monthly active users. We grew by 200% after that. And then right now we're focusing more on daily active users. And this also gave an impact of about 200% after this, right? So that's last year. And this year, we already built a significant base right now in 2016. Now we start moving our strategy into an app that actually can satisfy the needs, the digital needs for all our users, both from content and then commerce. So now we can do order of rides of Gojek through Line. Now you can shop through Line for Line shopping. You can read all the news. In fact, some people ask us why all the content partners would like to work together with Line. But apparently what we bring to the table is actually now all the youth actually start reading news. So actually very positive as well. So Line today is for the news aggregator. And then most recently, we launched Line Pay, which is now you can actually send money through the chat window. It's very cool, actually. You have to try. We work together with eCash. And it's very simple way to sign up. It's just registering your phone number. So we now evolved from just a messaging and communication app to a full-blown smart portal. And one of the way we actually express this is recently when we have a partnership with Alfamart, where if you have Line, you can get financial benefits. And as we start broadening our audience to the middle income level, that kind of financial benefits is actually quite important to them. This is, at the end of the day, is an ad-funded society, a society that's funded by advertising. So what we did is actually we give away 10% discount in Alfamart vouchers if they download Line and type 10% in Alfamart official account. So the message has to be simple. So what we did is we worked together with Raffi Ahmad, is the brand ambassador of Alfamart, and we had this advertising. It's actually, I think it's already more than 4 million right now, and 90% of that is organic.
Woi, bukan tanggal tua amat sih. Hehehe, mau yang asik? Buruan download Line di Google Play Store. Cus, pindah ke Line sekarang. Hehehe, dapetin voucher diskon hingga 25.000 di Alfamart.
Line.
Impact more to come. We haven't finished the program, so the program will end next week. So if you still have Line and you haven't get the voucher or you haven't redeemed, do so within the next few days. Otherwise, it's closed already. All right? So, okay, this was my last slide. After that, we can open for questions. So again, at the end of the day, the recipe is not that complex. It's very simple. It's all about, at the end of the day, please first. At the end of the day, you have your product. You just have to be super fast and furious in terms of innovating every second and really look at the trends that happen in the market, right? How you think about killer service, killer products. But then the challenge is not stopping there. The next will be, how you wrap that killer features and services, right? Using the right message, right audience, and right timing. And it actually really, really matters, right? And finally, I think this is what I believe is the most important recipe for Line in Indonesia. It's about localization. You have to really, really understand the market. You will not come up with that father prayer if you don't really understand the market. You will not come up with that AADC thing unless you really understand what's going on in the society in Indonesia. Otherwise, your message is just very boring. You just put together the features. But as long as you can wrap it and put it in localization element, that becomes very, very powerful. And we prove it. We prove it already, and that's how we grow from marketing angle. So again, the aspect is actually a bit different right now in terms of smartphone is actually already maturing, and people already start adopting the digital advertising. And if many of you thinking about entering Indonesia, it's very important to think about the partner. And Line can be your partner. Line can be your partner in terms of working together and going to the Indonesian market. We have a product called Line Ad, where you can work together on that one, or you can use our official accounts. And I'll be here if you have questions about that. Thank you very much for your attention. Hopefully that's insightful for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Stay here really quick. I want to open up for a couple of quick questions. Is there anyone who wants to ask Mr. Uncle here for a couple of questions? I see one in the back. All right. So let's do one here in the back. Who was it? All right. So.
Hi, my name is Abraham. Thank you for your presentation. So I have a questions. So how did you discover that, okay, this one is the right message, this one is the right audience? What did you do? Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's a very key questions on this, all this. At the end of the day, it goes back to marketing. It's basic marketing. You start with your deep market research. You talk to people. You talk to so many people. And what we've done so far is we've spent a lot of time doing that discipline. So that's the kind of discipline that really being pushed within the company. It's kind of like a culture that continue to challenge whether you really, really think through. It is backed by numbers, very numbers driven as well. Show me the numbers. Why you're very confident that this will work. So otherwise, the management will send you back to the field. Really try to understand, right? And then, not stopping at that, the creative is also very important. And so far, in the first three, actually all the creatives were in-house. Creative and production even, all in-house. So we didn't even appoint a creative agency. Only the latest one is actually creative agency we appoint because we are targeting a different segment. So the previous one, all we are doing it ourselves.
All right, next question.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. My name is Santo. Yeah, I have a question about what will be your next, your future plan. Consider that you have a lot of competitors surrounding Line, and what will be your competitive advantage in the future? Thank you.
Thank you, Pak. So you see in the 2016, we already give you a glimpse of what's to come in terms of smart portal. So company-wide, that's the direction that we are going. Basically, the model is very clear. The model is WeChat model in China. So we start building business verticals on top of the messaging base, which actually makes sense because the messaging traffic brings you every day to you, right? So you have the traffic already. Now you need to understand what are the needs from those traffics. What are the needs from those users? And what we found out is first, they need content. So that's why we introduced the news aggregation, and it's very successful so far, Line today. And then we start looking at what else. It's actually commerce. So more from shopping, and then pay, and eventually points or rewards. So those are the areas that we are exploring right now. And what we found out is actually we cannot do that by ourselves. As you say, competition is very tough, so we need to move really, really fast. And therefore, we partner a lot. we partner a lot with many companies by doing so. Hope that helps.
Thank you very much for the
Thanks,
presentation
everyone.
today. Can we give him a round of applause, please?
Thank you.